Welcome to another edition of the Dementia Care Partner Talk Show. Now, here's dementia care expert Teepa Snow and your host, Greg Phelps.
This podcast is brought to you by Joy's House. Joy's House serves adults living with life-altering diagnosis and their families by providing exceptional adult day and caregiver services. With 2 Indianapolis-based adult day centers, Joy's House offers safety and community for their clients while offering peace of mind and respite for caregivers. For more information, visit joyshouse.org.
Hello and welcome to the Dementia Care Partners podcast, brought to you by Positive Approach to Care. I'm your host, Greg Phelps, and joining me as usual is dementia care expert Teepa Snow. And Teepa, it's not very often that I get emails from you, and on the bottom of the page in large capital letters are the 2 words totally unacceptable. Teepa's usually a little more tolerant than that. So then I went back and read all of the stuff that you had sent me and other stuff I gathered online. Alzheimer's has ravaged his mother's memory, but music still brings her back. I read all that, blah, blah, blah. 70% of dementia cases, read all that boilerplate stuff that we all know. Came to this line and it said, after a while, they don't suffer anymore. They have no pain and they just don't know what is going on. They don't recognize their family members, the loved ones. They don't really suffer. And I actually dropped the paper, and I'm not going to say what I said. Somebody actually published that?
It was on NPR, which was really sad because I trust NPR, and to allow this human being who is quote unquote supposedly an expert to make that kind of blatantly untrue statement just floored me. I mean, I was driving a car across Chicago, and I literally was like, I can't believe this. This is the end of this story that they were doing. This is what they're saying. This is ridiculous. So, of course, I actually did write in my comments, and I just said, I am so disappointed in NPR for posting this kind of nonsense. Because that's where do you get statements like this? I don't even know where you'd find a statement like that and call it truth. People living with dementia don't have pain. Well, let me stretch your leg out because it's got a contraction. I'm sure the reason you're trying to kick me or bite me or pinch me or scratch me is because I'm hurting you and it hurts. It's like
you don't have
it's people's names or faces. It depends on the dementia. Oh my.
You don't have to have spent much time in a care facility to sort of realize various states, even people who are in pearl positions, and maybe if people don't know what the gems are, that's another program for us to re-explain those. But people who are nearing end stage still feel.
Yeah. Yes, how I express pain, how I respond, how I react to pain will be changing. But to think I have no pain and I remember nothing of what happens, that is just so. It's where you find me speechless. But if I don't use words you wouldn't want me to use, it's hard to come up with something to say other than, I'm sorry, that person shouldn't be allowed to speak as someone who is supposedly knowledgeable about the state of care and the state of everything in dementia. That's not true.
So for the first time, probably since I've known you, you were actually triggered. Generally, you don't get triggered because you've done this for so long. What can people do when they get into situations where they get triggered by something like this? Because it's an interesting sort of back into on the other side of the story.
So for me, I have to let the pressure off with my right temporal lobe. So trust me, in that car going across Chicago, it was a blue stream. I mean, it was definitely the right side of my brain. I had high volume. I was furious. And I was not taking it out on other drivers. I was driving very carefully, that kind of thing. But I had to let a lot of that crap go because I needed to bring my amygdala back down. And to be honest, it was in a very unhappy place. it was really feeling that. And so by letting the pressure off and then thinking again, reading it again to make sure I hadn't misinterpreted, because sometimes when you read, maybe you misinterpret. And then I did that. And then I got a chance to share it out. And when you share something out, you sort of have it out. It's sort of like it's out there. And I felt confident, and I read back over what I wrote, and I still felt confident. And then I wrote to NPR, still felt confident. And now, until you brought it back up, I had not forgotten it, but I had compartmentalized it because, my next step might be get up with the university that has that person attached to it and say, I have some concerns that this is the kind of thing that's being said on a national radio program in a podcast. And it's wholly inaccurate. And I think it needs to be withdrawn. That's my one remaining piece, but I can do that with now some thought and some evidence, which I couldn't have done before. I wasn't into evidence. I mean, the evidence is so clear. It's like, obviously, you do not spend time with real human beings. You are a somehow bench researcher or something that has lost sight of what it is this is all about, which is human beings who, yes, still do. And it's not just families that are struggling. Good heavens, how dare you? So, yeah, I'm almost ready.
Sometimes it is good to hit the pause button and sort of digest things and not react immediately, because I tend to be very reactive, and sometimes I have to say, I'm sorry.
Well, and that's why I blurted, but then I shared and I blurted and I said, unacceptable, because it truly is. And so I'll revisit it multiple times. I shared it with people living with, and they also found it, might I add, unacceptable, and really just didn't represent them at all. I mean, these are over 25 people living with dementia who said, well, that's not true. I do feel pain. Who thinks I wouldn't feel pain? And it was like, yeah, well, I need to introduce you to this lady from this university who literally physician who, thinks researcher who thinks that's the case, because that's concerning that she's still putting that out there. And so, we continue to battle ignorance with knowledge is the way. I mean, and it's, for me, this one was almost a battle, and I had to back off of the battle and to make it sort of a discussion and then to push further, but it's not over yet, might I say.
So everybody who has heard about this, please disregard, throw it away, purge that one from your memory, whatever you have to do to get rid of that, because it's wrong. Wrong on so many levels that I usually end the program by saying, for more information on this topic. Today, I'm not going to.
No. I mean, this is not something that should be promoted in any fashion, because it's just false information. And it's so disappointing that it came out from a source that I typically have trusted. So I encourage, when you hear something that seems wrong, if you're not sure, you can get up with us, because we'll be happy to sort of explore it further and find out, well, this is how it sort of is accurate. Not in this case. Absolutely not.
Teepa, thank you very much.
Thank you, Greg.
You've been listening to the Dementia Care Partners podcast, brought to you by Positive Approach to Care. For more information on dementia care related information, accurate information, please go to teepasnow.com.
Hi, I'm Teepa Snow, and you just found our YouTube channel and watched one of our videos. I'm the owner and founder of Positive Approach to Care. Thanks for watching, and if you liked, if you have a comment about, or you would, please share it with people you know. Oh, and if you haven't yet done it, consider subscribing. We'll let you know when the next new video comes out, and you might want to visit our website, www.teepasnow.com, where you'll find other resources as well. See you there.